Polio was the enormous shared fear of every parent and every child in America and really across most of the world. It was a mass experience of terror that stretched over decades. We think of wars as mobilizing a population, but polio was a war that went on for 50 years.
When I was a youngster, when it became polio season, which was July, August, September, and part of October, all the theaters closed, all the swimming pools closed. You were not allowed to go out and play with your friends.
I wasn't even 15, about to be 15, when we woke up one morning and the news was that there had been an epidemic of polio and at the school. And it's hard to conjure up this sort of a dread and drama of that news.
This disease would come into your life, and it could either be like a bad cold, or it could be a devastating illness that would really change your life forever.
And it was spooky. I mean, you just felt all the time that this weird thing could hit you, and you couldn't tell where it was going to come from, and you couldn't tell what it was going to do to you, or what would be left when it was finished doing it.
In 1955, the Children's Hospital had a bed census not too far from what we have today. It's about 350 beds. And all but 12 beds were converted to polio. And that's how bad the epidemic was. And I can remember one night when the line in automobiles waiting to get their children to the admission unit where we were examining them and saying, you don't have it, go home. Or you do have it, you better come into the hospital. That line was almost a mile long.
There's something lurking out there that any day could hit you and you'd become completely paralyzed and put in a respirator to breathe for you. That's frightening.
It's impossible for us now to understand the fear that went along with polio. You had no idea where it was going to show up, what city was going to get the epidemic, what block of the city, which kids were going to get it, whether the adults were going to get it. So you had no idea why it went from one place to another or where it was going to show up. It could just happen anywhere. The doctors had this horrible situation. You had a patient that would come in and have a little paralysis in the legs. You knew it was polio. You did your spinal tap. Then you watched it kind of march up the body, and all of a sudden the shoulders got weak and the person couldn't breathe, and you had to get an iron lung. And you couldn't do anything about that. You just had to watch that happen. Can you imagine how that would be? Maybe it was your neighbor who you were the doctor for, and they just had this relentless march of polio. And if you think it was scary in the 50s, think of how scary it was in 1916 when, out of the blue, New York City has 9,000 cases of polio and 2,500 people die of polio, mostly children, in one summer in New York City.